You're watching Golden State Warriors today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Sr. A reminder to subscribe to the channel because Warriors basketball is right around the corner. NBA training camp tipping off on September 28th. Warriors tipping off the season in the middle of October. Yesterday, we were talking about Marc Gasol rumors. Could he be signing with Golden State in NBA free agency? Now, we're talking about three notable players who are working out for Golden State as we lead up to NBA training camp. This coming from Marc J. Spears, that Isaiah Thomas, Avery Bradley, Quinn Cook, all going to be working out for Golden State to try and round out this roster. Spears saying this on Twitter: Warriors are working out free agent guards Isaiah Thomas, Avery Bradley, and ex-Warrior Quinn Cook, among others, this week. Sources tell the Undefeated Warriors would like to sign a big man and two guards for camp. Workouts will include 5-on-5 games with a diverse group of free agents. So these players all will have an opportunity to display their skill sets and their value potentially to the Warriors in 5-on-5 action. As for Isaiah Thomas, look, he had a great couple of years with the Boston Celtics and the Sacramento Kings back in the day. He was an MVP, in the MVP mix, I should say, with the Boston Celtics several years ago. Here's the deal, though. From that point on, he has dealt with a lot of injuries, and from 2017 to 2021, he has played in a grand total of 87 games. The averages across the board during that span: 12.5 points per game, less than 4 assists. He shot only 38% from the floor and 34% from distance. That is not going to cut it for a guy who doesn't play that good a defense and is also very small as well. Now, Isaiah Thomas and all of these players working out for Golden State would not be a part of the Warriors' starting five. And because Klay Thompson is not going to start the season healthy as part of this organization, as he continues to come back off that torn Achilles, I'm thinking this might be the starting five for the Warriors on opening night. Steve Kerr's going to have a bunch of options to go with. We know that Steph Curry, James Wiseman, Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins are going to start. Otto Porter, maybe he's in the mix. Maybe you go with another player. Steve Kerr is going to have a couple of different options at his disposal. For Isaiah Thomas, though, I think he's at the very least, at the bare minimum, a good camp body. He played well this summer in the Drew League as well as a couple of pro-ams. Here's the deal. It's not the NBA level, and I'm not sure how much Isaiah Thomas is going to be able to give you. But he thinks that he can still play. Can he still score the basketball? And if that's the case, the latter rings true, then maybe Isaiah Thomas is a solid camp body at the very least for Golden State as a guy who can continue to score the basketball, because coming off the bench, you don't have a ton of great scoring options at the guard spot outside of Jordan Poole. Dub homies, your opportunity to chime in, sound off, and get into the comment section to let your feelings be known about Isaiah Thomas. Do you want Golden State to sign him? Type Y for yes, type N for no. As always, get your votes in the comment section. And if you're new to us here at Chat Sports, we're a very interactive YouTube channel. We always love hearing from you. As for Avery Bradley, he too is going to work out for the Warriors, and he's not an offensive specialist by any means. He's never really been that. He has always been a lockdown defender who can guard multiple positions. So when you look at the offensive numbers here, you're not going to sit back and say, Avery Bradley, offensive superstar. This guy is a dog on that end. He's a dog defensively. And I think he could give you a lot of value. I mean, you look at guys like Andre Iguodala and Avery Bradley as defensive stoppers for this Warriors organization. That's really why I'd like Avery Bradley probably over Isaiah Thomas and Quinn Cook as part of these workouts. Last year, very limited time with Houston as well as Miami. 5 points, still around to steal. Field goal percentage and three-point numbers ain't it at all. But his resume, pretty good, and he's been in the league for a really long time, so he certainly brings experience to this organization as well. I'm surprised he hasn't hopped on board with the title contender, because I do think those defensive qualities and intangibles do work well for a team that is ready to make a run in the playoffs like the Warriors are. Second team all-defense in 2012-2013 for the Boston Celtics. First team all-defense in 2015-16. That is not an accolade that you scoff at. And then in 2020, NBA champion with the Lakers. He got a ring, but did not partake in the NBA Finals because that game did go down in the NBA bubble. That series went down in the NBA bubble and Avery Bradley was a COVID opt-out, but still he's able to get some hardware with that NBA championship. I'll let my feelings be known on this. I think Avery Bradley can still play defense at a pretty elite level. He can still track down and stick some quick and shifty guards. There are so many of them across the NBA landscape nowadays. He can match up at times with guys who are a little bit bigger than him. And I do think that Avery Bradley can get the job done on the defensive end of the floor. What do you think, though? Another question for you. Would Bradley's defense help Golden State? Let me know in the comments section as we pop up this question for you. Would Avery Bradley be a solid defender for the Warriors? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. Let your feelings be known once more in the comments section as we continue to cook up these questions. I think Avery Bradley, solid player, obviously a little bit older. You're not asking him to do a lot offensively. You would be asking him to be a defensive stopper. Shout out to today's show sponsor, BetUS, our sportsbook sponsor here at Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, enter the promo code CHAT125, you get a 125% deposit bonus. What that means is you put $100 into your account, you get an additional $125 back. That's $225 to wager with, and maybe you want to put some future bets down on Golden State, or you want to bet on some NFL games like me. I'm trying to rebound from a bad week 2. I'm going to be putting my money down thanks to our friends at BetUS. You have to use that link in that promo code for that deal to apply. Lastly, Quinn Cook. Spent last year with the Los Angeles Lakers. He did spend 2 seasons with the Warriors and helped them win a championship during that 2017-18 season. Wasn't really a massive part of those championship teams, but this is a culture guy. There have been so many clips surfacing of him after he got DNP'd, which means the coach did not play him. That's what the DNP stands for those not familiar, of Quinn Cook, just putting up shots late in the gym after games because he's devoted to his craft. That's the type of culture player that Quinn Cook is. Went to Duke, championship level guy, helped the Warriors a couple years ago win that title. Last year played 23 games with the Cleveland Cavaliers as well as the Los Angeles Lakers. And the numbers last year, again, not crazy by any means. Quinn Cook would not play a lot of games for Golden State this upcoming season, but he's familiar with this organization. He's familiar with Steve Kerr's offense, how this operation goes. He's very familiar with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, some of the key players on this roster, and he is a familiar face. So a back end of the bench option is what Quinn Cook would be for Golden State. So basically, we're going to be able to see Isaiah Thomas, Avery Bradley, Quinn Cook, and a couple of other players, according to that report from Marc J. Spears, partake in all of these workouts, 5-on-5 stuff in Golden State at the facility to see who can really crack this training camp roster, with the hopes for those guys that they'd be able to crack the opening night roster for Golden State when they start the season against the Los Angeles Lakers. Who do you think is the best one of these guys? Sing it for me. Type IT for Isaiah Thomas, AB for Avery Bradley, QC for Quinn Cook. And even though you get your votes in, you can sing IT, AB, QC. We're rhyming here on Warriors Today. That's just what we do. And before we get out of here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We bring you the latest Warriors news, latest Warriors rumors, breaking news, updates, not just in season, but all year round. Smash that subscribe button.